that is union government. In that president, vice president power and functions, and as well as method of election of the president. The Constitution of India has adapted the parliamentary system of executive. Like all parliamentary system in the world, India's parliament is bicameral. The lower house is designated as the House of People or Lok Sabha. The upper house as the Council of State. The two houses along with the president constitute parliament. All these three organs are essential to the process of legislation by parliament. The two houses of parliament in India is different from each other in many respects. They are constituted and entirely different principles, and from a functional points of view also. They do not enjoy a co-equal status. Article 52 of the Constitution of India says that there shall be a President of India. He is the head of the state. As per Article 53, the executive power of the Union shall be vested in the President, and it shall be exercised by him in accordance with the Constitution, either directly or through officers subordinate to him. The officers subordinate to him also includes a minister. The expression executive power is not defined in the Constitution, but Article 73 defines that executive power of the Union extended to the matters with respect to which the Parliament has authority to make laws. Executive authority is an authority to carry out executive function of the government. It is one of the function of the executive to execute the laws also. So we should know that what do you mean executive function? Ordinarily, executive function connotes the residue of the governmental function that remains after legislative and judicial functions are taken away. Broadly speaking, executive function comprises both determination of a policy as well as carrying it into execution. In Ram Javaiya Kapoor versus State of Punjab, Supreme Court also finds it difficult to explain the context of executive function. Court has observed that it may not be possible to frame an exhaustive definition of what executive functions mean and imply. Executive power includes the initiation of legislation and maintenance of law and order, promotion of social and economic welfare, the direction of foreign policy. In fact, carrying on or supervision of the general administration of the state. Broadly speaking, the executive function comprises the whole corpus of the authority to govern other than that which is involved in the legislative function of the parliament and the judicial function of the courts. In recent times, the scope of executive function has become extremely wide. It now involves administration or regulation of a vast system of social services like public health, housing, assistance for sick and unemployed, welfare of industrial workers, education, transport, and so on, as well as defense, law and order, justice, and finance, which are the virginal tasks of organized government. With the rise of the executive function, the methods of the government also changed. Executive authority conferring powers other than purely executive or administrative powers. It exercises the powers of the subordinate legislation and administrative justice. The President of India is elected indirectly, that is by an electoral college, in accordance with the system of proportional representation by means of single transferable vote. We should know that what do you mean electoral college in the context of presidential election. The electoral college shall consist of the elected members of both the houses of the parliament, the elected members of the legislative assemblies of the states, and the elected members of the legislative assemblies of the union territories of Delhi and Pondicherry. Nominated members have no right to elect the president. However, nominated members have no right to elect the president. Student, we will discuss the whole procedure of presidential election based on value of vote of MP and MLAs. The value of the vote of each MP and MLA differs in accordance with number of members in their legislative body. Further, each electoral casts a different number of votes. The general principle is that total number of votes cast by member of the parliament equals the total number of votes cast by state legislators. Also, legislators from larger state cast more votes than those from smaller states. Further, each electoral casts a different number of votes. There is a general formula to determine the value of the vote of MLA and MP in presidential election. First one is the value of the vote of MLA equals total population of a state divided by total number of elected members of the state legislative assemblies into 1 by 1000. The next general formula to determine the value of the vote of MP is value of the vote of a MP equals total value of vote of all MLAs of all the states divided by total number of elected members of the parliament. That means both the houses. Here we take a hypothetical example. Means if there is a total population of 50 lakhs in a state and there are 100 elected MLAs. In that circumstances, the votes of each MLA shall be 50 lakhs divided by 100 into 1 divided by 1000 equals 50. That means 50 is the value of a vote of each MLA. For example, during 1969 presidential election, the total number of votes assignment to all the members of the assemblies of a state came about 4,30,847. These votes were to be divided by the total number of seats in two houses of the parliament. That is 4,30,847 divided by 748 equals 576. Value of votes assigned to every elected member of both the houses of the parliament was 576. According to our constitution, the election of the president must be held in accordance with the system of proportional representation by means of single transferable vote, vote being by secret ballot. This principle always goes with multiple member constituencies. The system of indirect election was criticized as falling short of democratic ideals underlining universal adult franchise. But indirect election was supported and finally decided by the framers of our constitution. Under the system of responsible government or parliamentary form of the government, real power would vest in the Council of Ministers. So, it would be anomalous to elect the president directly by the people without giving real powers. we coming into the concept of qualification to become a president. In order to occupy the office of president, a person must be citizen of India, have completed the age of 35 years, be qualified for election as a member of House of the People, and must not hold any office of profit under the government of India or government of any state, but sitting president or vice president of the union or governor of any state or minister of the union or any state is not disqualified for election as president. After the election, if one is elected, then he holds the office until he resigns or until the term of the completion. It is also an essential condition that the president cannot be a member of either house of the parliament or a house of legislature of any state. If a member of either house of the parliament or a state legislature is elected as president, he shall be deemed to have vacated his seat in the house on the date on which he enters upon his office as president. The normal tenure of the office of the president is 5 years and he is eligible for re-election. A vacancy in the office of the president may be caused due to the following reasons, that is, on the expiry of his term of 5 years, or by his death, or by his resignation, or on his removal by impeachment. In case of death, resignation or removal, the vice president shall discharge the duties of the president until a new president is elected. If both the offices are vacant, the Chief Justice of India shall act as the President of India until election is held. We should know the procedure of impeachment. An impeachment is a quasi-judicial procedure in Parliament. Either Lok Sabha or Rajya Sabha may prefer the charge of violation of Constitution before the either house. A resolution containing a proposal is moved after 14 days notice in writing, signed by not less than 1/4 of the total number of members of that house, and resolution then passed by a majority of not less than 2/3 of the total membership of the house. Then president have the right to appear and represented at that investigation. As a result of the investigation, a resolution is passed by not less than 2/3 of the total membership of the house, before which charges have been preferred, and declared that charges have been proved, then the president has to vacate his office. Since Constitution provides the modes and grounds for removing in case if the president goes against Constitution or in his capacity. The president cannot be removed otherwise than by impeachment. Till this day, no president has been removed by impeachment. The president shall not be answerable to any court for the exercise and performance of his powers, duties of his office, or for any act done or purporting to be done by him in exercise of those powers and duties. No criminal proceedings shall be instituted and continued against him in any court during the term of office. No process of arrest or imprisonment of the president shall be issued from any court during his term of office. No civil proceedings also initiated against him in his personal capacity. Next, coming into the point of emoluments of President. According to the Constitution, President gets 5 lakh a salary per month. He is also entitled to make use of free official residence having 340 rooms, and shall also be entitled to such emoluments, allowances and privileges as may be determined by the Parliament by law. These emoluments and allowances of the President shall not be diminished during his term of office. President is also entitled to get pension of rupees 1,50,000 per month. These emoluments and allowances of the President shall not be diminished during his term of office. President is also entitled to get pension 1,50,000 per month during his lifetime until his death. Next, coming into the point, President is elected for 5 years and can also be re-elected for another term. Constitution is silent about the number of terms a person can contest in this office. Next, disputes relating to the election of the President. Article 71 says that such disputes shall be decided by the Supreme Court, whose jurisdiction shall be exclusive and final. No disputes can be raised on the ground of any vacancy in the electoral college which elected the President. If election of the President is declared as void by the Supreme Courts, acts done by him prior to the date of such decision shall not be invalidated. Barring the decision of such disputes, other matters relating to the election of President may be regulated by the law by Parliament. Dear student, I hope that you understood the concept of President. He is the head of the executive union, and his powers and methods of elections and emoluments and term of office, etc. Thank you.